What is up guys, Fahan here and welcome back to another ultimate bike review. This is the review of the Harley Davidson Fatboy 114. Being a guy who's grown to love American pop culture and all things American, I mean, just for this review I have my American Thin Blue Line shirt on. The Harley Davidson Fatboy is the epitome of America on two wheels. Huge thanks to Harley Davidson Asia Pacific for lending me this bike for the ultimate review. Alright guys, let's begin with the riding review of the Fatboy. So as with any 2020 era's bike, the Fatboy uses a key fob or a transponder. It's a keyless, but even though there's a key on it, it's actually meant for you to lock the handlebars of the Fatboy. Okay, so starting her up, pretty straightforward. Put the engine running switch, and the starter is right here below the hazard lights. Oh, I have to say that it has a really nice sounding start. I love it, man. This is like, wow. Just want to do it again for the camera, you know. Oh. Okay, clutch in, putting in first gear and move off. Have to be sure that your side stand is up before you actually move off, or else when you engage first gear, it's just gonna kill the engine. The Harley Fatboy. I have to say that my first day with the bike, it was a horrible experience because I'm not used to the handling. It's very different from any other motorcycle that I've ridden before. Even the Pan America, it's totally different. Okay, I've ridden a lot of bikes before. I've ridden adventure bikes. I've ridden the Meteor 250, which is another cruiser based motorcycle, and all of those you can throw it out the window because the Fatboy is unlike any other motorcycle. It's a typical American cruiser. Your sitting posture is like you're sitting like feet forward like this, you know, and it's a very awkward sitting position, something that I'm certainly not used to. And given that, you know, my legs are kind of short and all that, I have trouble like changing the gear and putting my feet on the foot brake at first, and also cornering wise, I'm now used to it. But at first, initially, it's like I feel as if the rear wheel is like I'm going to give way, or like I'm going to self skid, but it's not. It's just the way the characteristics of the Fatboy is. Definitely need to get used to the handling. It's not a bike for beginner riders, definitely, because you're gonna feel really awkward. You're gonna feel really scared riding the Fatboy. And oh my gosh, it's really not a slow bike, like guys. It's meant for you to go fast. It's meant for you to ride the highways on. It's something totally different. It's just raw power that is in between your legs right now, you know. It doesn't want to go slow, even though you can control it, you can tame the bike, but it just wants to go. It has, you know, it's telling you, you know, like you're riding in the city setting, it's just telling you that I can go faster, I want to go faster, let me go faster. It's really a bike that is kind of difficult to control at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's a wonderful bike lah, in my personal opinion lah. So the weight is like 371 kg, but you don't really feel the weight on the bike. It feels pretty stable, feels pretty lightweight in my personal opinion, because both of your feet are flat on the ground. It helps to control the bike, makes it more stable. It has a nice low center of gravity that, you know, it helps when you're riding it. You're gripping the road, you're not like all over the place, you know, and it helps with, you know, highway riding when you're at high speeds. It's just a dream to ride on the highway, and I'm going to describe it when I get on the expressway lah. But it's just a nice handling bike, and with a ride height of 65 centimeters. It's like both of my feet on the ground, but because the engine is quite hot, right? You're only able to get like the right foot on the ground, because the seat is kind of wide, so you have to spread your legs quite a bit, and you don't want to be touching the engine because it's really hot. So let's talk about the performance. I have to say that the Fat Boy is one of the more powerful bikes that I've ever ridden. It's very difficult to describe it in words, in my personal opinion, because there's that instant torque when you need it, you know, like whew, the acceleration is really damn good. It's something that I've never really experienced before. Maybe on a sports bike, I don't know, but for me, the Fat Boy, the acceleration, the pickup, once you know floor it, there's a nice sounding growl and roar to it, you know, and you're really taken aback at first by the pickup, you know, because it just pushes you back and you're just amazed, you know. Yeah, I'm left speechless actually when I played around the accelerator at first. It's just wow. I really cannot describe, like, guys. It's actually my 4th day with the bike. I'm feeling pretty confident with it now. It's like I now know how to tame and control the bike, you know, especially in Singapore setting. You tend to want to go faster on the Fat Boy, yeah, because at first it's just too damn powerful. Like I said, it's really not a bike for beginner riders. You really need to keep the throttle under control. You need to get yourself used to the bike, especially on the first day. Get used to the bike. Riding in Singapore, you definitely need to be below the speed limit, or else people are gonna flame you online. It's something that I was struggling on the first day when I got the Fat Boy, but now pretty much this bike is under my control. Okay, so we got slow traffic up ahead. I don't know why that guy behind me horn. I think he just wanted to overtake the truck. Jalan Kayu. I regret passing by here because it's very busy and there's only like one lane in each direction, so there's no way for you to overtake anybody. But if you can control the Fat Boy in such a setting, right, I think there'll be no issues. You're more than capable to ride the Fat Boy on Singapore streets. This bike is really more of a highway kind of bike, you know. It doesn't want to be held back. It doesn't want to be behind a vehicle. It just wants to feel the open road. The Fat Boy will be a dream to handle. It's the best bike for the highway. Given that in America there's all of the interstates, it's really meant to take on the interstate. And going at 90 in Singapore is really not enough to unleash the potential of the Fat Boy. I wish I could bring this back to Malaysia and just unleash its full potential, you know. You know, as you're riding the highway, you will encounter such gradual bends like this, you know. The Fat Boy really performs well. It may take getting a bit of used to, and I find myself using the handlebars to steer with, as opposed to like leading my body, you know. And especially in tight corners, we're using our handlebars a lot. On my NC, I'm leaning a lot because maybe of its lower center of gravity, and these bikes are right height, right? It doesn't really corner very low, and you have to like use the handlebars frequently, you know. So at high speeds, the wind is definitely hitting you, your body, your face. Modular helmet with the best helmet to ride on the Fat Boy. But it's not that bad, considering that your sitting position, once you get used to it, is kind of comfortable. It's just an awesome ride down the expressway. But the bike can really go much faster than this, and it's meant to go much faster than this. So it's really too wild for Singapore roads. Oh my gosh. That rumble, you know, when you are like accelerating. Oh, it's just a nice sweet sounding growl. And even myself, when I'm riding it right now, it's like, oh my gosh. The vibration, I'm surprised that it's not that bad. Almost similar to my NC, but my legs are pretty much feeling the rumble of the engine. It's not that irritating, in my personal opinion, but you just feel the rumble on the feet boards. And the feet controls, like changing gears and the foot brake, it can get pretty awkward given that my height is like 165. I think if you have longer legs, you are able to put the ball of your foot on standby on the gear and the foot brake. But as a highway tourer, I don't think you are using that a lot, because the Fat Boy is basically providing you a front row seat as you're thumping down the highway. It takes away all of the inconveniences and cumbersomeness of riding a motorcycle, and just enjoying the riding pleasure down the highway, you know. It's a very sweet ride. The brakes are pretty strong too. I think for the 2021 Fat Boy, they upgraded the brakes, and the stopping power, you can definitely feel like at high speed when somebody cuts into your lane or what. The stopping power is definitely there. You don't feel as if you got a fishtail or cell skid. It's damn stable as you're flooring the brakes, you know. And this is something that I must commend.
Based on the iconic Softail series of HD cruisers, the Harley-Davidson Fat Boy is rumoured to be an amalgamation of Fat Man and Old Boy, the names of the atomic bombs that dropped on Japan during World War II. Designed by Willie G. Davidson, the Fat Boy was inspired by other custom Harleys at the time, going for bigger, bulkier and fatter design. In 1989, Harley-Davidson took a prototype Fat Boy to the Daytona Bike Week, and it became an instant hit. The Fat Boy has cemented itself in popular culture, appearing in many movies and TV shows, most notably Terminator 2 Judgment Day. This has resulted in the Fat Boy being the icon of the American two-wheeler. In recent years, HD has marketed the Fat Boy as the all-American machine, exemplifying freedom, enjoying the ride down the interstate and achieving the American dream. This 2021 edition of the Fat Boy 114 uses the 9th generation Milwaukee 8 114, the biggest so far on a Softail, a 1868cc air-cooled V-twin 4-stroke UHC with electronic sequential port fuel injection and a 6-speed manual transmission. So let's start with riding posture. 165, kind of short, and basically with both legs on the ground, I can completely fat foot, but because the engine is quite hot and my calves are actually going to touch the engine, so which is why I'm tiptoeing a bit to avoid the engine. A little bit of warning, the engine does get hot, but then again, while you're riding, both feet are actually on the footboard, so you actually wouldn't feel the heat because of this feet forward sitting position. The heat of the engine doesn't really affect your legs that much as you're riding, but in start-stop traffic, definitely you will feel the heat of the engine on your inner thighs and calf also. It does get pretty hot. I have to say, as you know, for a guy who's not used to sitting in feet forwards kind of position, which is this typical cruiser position, it's pretty awkward at first, but as you're riding more and more, you get used to it. It does get kind of comfortable. It's not ergonomical because after much riding, you tend to hunch your back, so do straighten your back from time to time. I must say, after a while, it does get pretty comfortable. So hidden over here under the fuel tank near the chassis, there's actually a USB port which you can charge on the go. Kind of hidden, and you don't really know it's there until it's pointed out to you, and it's protected by a cover from the elements. Do remember to close it when you're riding, so once water gets in, it's gonna wreak havoc on your electronics, I guess. Being a 2020 era's bike, it actually uses a transponder or a key fob as opposed to a conventional key, but there's also a key included in which is actually meant to lock the handlebars with lah. I wish that Harley could maybe, I don't know, electronically handlebar lock the bike as opposed to using a key, you know. I mean, there's a lot of things for you to carry, and personally it doesn't make sense to also have a key just to lock the handlebar. And strangely, the fuel cap doesn't require a key, so you can just open it up like this and close it back. I think maybe if I were to put the transponder away, it will perhaps be able to lock. So the transponder is like away from me right now, and let's see if we're able to open the fuel cap. And unfortunately there is no locking mechanism for the fuel cap lah. And I think there should be aftermarket accessories whereby you are able to get a lockable fuel cap for the Fat Boy. And even though most Harleys, they somewhat have the same form factor, this cruiser style and classic look, right? The Fat Boy is actually different from most of the other Harleys. There's actually a couple of signatures that is unique to the Fat Boy, which is this logo on the fuel tank, somewhat aviation, military theme. This is only exclusive to the Fat Boy. And also solid or dish wheels. This is a Fat Boy icon. However, owners and reviewers have complained and claimed that the solid wheels actually trap wind. But for me, as I'm riding it, no issues. Feels pretty normal. I don't feel as if the wind is pushing me around, no. And it's actually proven as a myth by some reviewers and a lot of Harley enthusiasts. Also for America, they like to use the Imperial system. So for America, they're still displaying it in cubic inches. For the case of the Milwaukee 8, it's 114. But for the rest of the world, which uses cubic centimeters, it's 1868cc. And we have to talk about this single piece headlamp, which is unique to the latest model of Fat Boy. Its proper name is actually called the Narcel, and it's added to the 2018 model of the Fat Boy, blending in with the Fox, and personally it gives it a modern, updated, simple kind of feel to the front. So horn check for the Fat Boy, we're gonna have a listen. My god, it's pretty loud. Comes in 4 colors. This model I have right here is the Vivid Black, and there's Blackjack Metallic, Deadwood Green, Gauntlet Grey Metallic, and there's also an exclusive model for 2021, I think, which is the 30th anniversary edition, all black with bronze accent, limited to 2,500 models and mostly targeted at collectors. So definitely it's gonna cost a bit more, and I'm not sure if Singapore has it. So let's talk price. You know, being the most expensive country in the world to own a motorcycle, I think I said this in my panel review. Don't expect the prices to be similar to those in the US. Even in the US, a lot of people have complained that Harleys do cost a bit more than regular motorcycles. For Singapore, the single tone, which is one color, $53,900, and for dual tone colors, $54,500. Both of the prices exclude COE, so it's just the machine price. Comes with 2-year unlimited mileage warranty, after sales support provided by Harley Davidson of Singapore for servicing, parts, accessories, and general merch. And additionally, for new purchases of HD motorcycles, customers receive a 1-year complimentary HOG Harley Owners Group international membership, which allows them to access hog assist programs for roadside assistance.
And as you're riding around with the Fat Boy, you can feel as if everybody is looking at you, even the riders. Even like riders at the traffic light, you feel as if they're looking at you all the way. Even drivers also inside their cars, I can see that they're looking at the bike, you know, looking down. It's like, wow, I mean, it's a Harley. It's definitely a statement, but it's not a bike for everybody. Given that the high prices, riders wouldn't want to consider a Fat Boy, you know, given that lack of storage space, like a top box, you're able to put a top box. You can put saddlebags on it, but I reckon that, you know, it will spoil the lines of the bike. It won't look good, and all of those are just an afterthought for the Fat Boy. It's more of a statement, and you love Harley Davidson, and also it's something for Harley fans, cruiser fans, guys who like the raw power of the Milwaukee engine in between their legs, you know. Negotiating this corner right here, you are leaning in considerably as opposed to any other bike, you know. You have to really get it in there, use the handlebars if you need to, you know, to take on the corner, to negotiate a bend. And it's certainly a unique riding experience, but it's going to be a fun one once you get used to it. And also I take issue with the signal indicators. It's like the signal controls is like left is on the left side of the handlebar controls, right is on the right side of the handlebar controls. So it's pretty unique. It's a button as opposed to a sliding thing. Certainly something that I'm not used to. But you learn pretty quickly lah. And yeah, it's really an iconic bike, you know. In America, all over the world, it's recognized as the icon, you know. This is what America is on two wheels. As a guy who loves America and American pop culture and really dwells in it, right? I don't know, I feel like kind of, you know, wow, I'm riding an all-American bike. I feel patriotic lah, basically riding on a fat boy. And the freedom and the patriotism, you know, of what this all-American two-wheeler is all about. It's a really awesome bike. After like, you know, 4 days with it, getting used to the handling, riding the highways, struggling to keep it under control. Whew, damn guys, it was really an awesome ride.
Just included a challenging day of shooting with the Fat Boy. I have to say that the weather, even though I got a bike for like 5 days, the weather hasn't been too kind. It kept raining and raining, and certain times when I want to shoot, you know, it started raining, so I couldn't ride the bike out. And even today, it rained later in the day, which is why I'm in this car park right now to basically give my final conclusions on the Fat Boy review. I'm definitely riding an icon, and this bike is what America would be on two wheels. It really gives it a patriotic kind of vibe, you know, when you're riding this bike. As you're thumping down the highway or the road, or you're waiting at a stoplight, people will just look at you up and down and admire the bike, you know. It's such an attention-seeking bike. Definitely a premium bike, catering to a certain niche of riders. It's not a reach to majority, mostly due to the price range. I mean, 53,900 without COE. It's definitely a bit too high. There's also like cheaper cruisers out there from mainstream manufacturers, Honda, Yamaha. They all have their own retro-inspired cruiser offerings. It's more of a status symbol. It's for Harley fans, people who know the history and heritage of the Fat Boy and Harley Davidson, people wanting the ultimate cruiser, you know, for long-distance highway touring. The Fat Boy will do justice, definitely. It's for a niche market. It's for Harley fans, people who appreciate the history and heritage of Harley Davidson and the Fat Boy. The Fat Boy is definitely an icon, is the all-American cruiser, but it takes somebody who appreciates and knows the history of the Fat Boy to actually want one, because it's really impractical for the Singapore market. I mean, Singapore streets, you're not even able to go that fast. It's basically mostly city traffic, and the Fat Boy doesn't do too well on city streets. It's a nice thing to have when you are, you know, crossing the border and North-South Highway going up to Thailand. It will definitely do well on the highways. And it's really meant to be thumping down the North-South Highway, going at 120 kilometers per hour. It will be an enjoyable ride, you know. And that's it for the ultimate review of the Harley Davidson Fat Boy 114. Shout out to Warren of Harley Davidson Asia Pacific. He's the one that hooked me up with this bike. Thank you so much for providing this bike, and to get a chance to basically ride a Harley Davidson And yeah, any riders want to review by us, to get in touch with us on our social media pages below. You can also go to our Shopee and purchase exclusive Tambak Overlanders merchandise. All purchases will go back to these videos and also support us on our upcoming overland trips lah. And that's it for the vlog, and we'll see you in the next one. The current generation of Fat Boys, however, have been totally redesigned to provide a more comfortable and better control ride with improved handling. And I have to say that holds true to what HD has done in recent years with its current lineup. Patriotism, freedom, and the open road. The Fat Boy represents a no-nonsense bad boy outlaw image that Harley Davidsons are known for. With rich history and heritage to the Fat Boy name, it's a taste of pure American muscle on two wheels.